This week we've done a ton of Christmas crafts, but I told you in my last video that we are switching gears and we are going to celebrate New Year's. And today I'm so excited to show you how to make the most gorgeous 3D Happy New Year's banner. This thing right here turned out phenomenal and I can't wait to show you how to create this. First things first, you want to go over to my cardstock warehouse and not only get the SVG file that we are using for this project today, but also you want to pick up the two colors of cardstock. Today we are going to be using marigold and plain black for this project. After you make your purchase, the SVG file will be automatically emailed to you and you just need to download it into your computer. Once you have the SVG file downloaded, what you need to do is open up a blank window in Cricut Design Space. How to do that is come over here into New Project. Then what you need to do is come over here into Upload and press Upload Image. Now what we need to do is finding that downloaded file from my cardstock warehouse, drag and drop it into Cricut Design Space. It's going to look fuzzy, that's okay, just press Continue. And then you can rename this if you want to, but I'm just going to press upload. Now, once you have it downloaded into Cricut Design Space, the hard part is over because now technically all you have to do is press make and cut this out. However, there is one minor change that everyone's going to have to do, and that is to resize this to the size banner that you want to create. Now, the one thing that I do get asked quite often when I make banners is what size banner pennants should you be making? And to be honest with you, there isn't a standard size pennant. What I suggest is taking a measurement of where you plan on hanging your banner. Then what you need to do is make the length of this banner the length that you need for your space that you're going to be decorating. For me, the size I want is to create a 40-inch long banner. So all I did was come up here into size and change it over to 40 and press return. You do want to make sure that this right here is locked before you resize it, just because then it makes everything resized proportionately versus distorting all the proportions. Now, when we have it nice and big and large, you will see that there are these small little stars that are going to get cut out all over this banner. The end result of this banner is it just ends up looking phenomenal, and that's because I've created this SVG file with a whole bunch of little glitz and glam stuff. Now that we've resized this, again, you could seriously just go and press make, because the design process, I already have designed this for you. So I know that there isn't a whole lot of time to do a bunch of crafting during the holidays because we are busy with the hustle and bustle of Christmas. So that's why I've created this banner, just so we can just hurry up, upload it into Cricut Design Space and cut with minimal customizations. However, if you wanted to take this a next step further and customize it to your liking, let's say you really don't like the font that I've chosen for my SVG file, all you need to do is right click and press ungroup. Then what you can do is just delete the lettering because you don't want it. You want your own, right? So after we delete the lettering, what you want to do is you want to insert a new text box over here. And if you don't want to do Happy New Year and you want to do like Happy Birthday or just doing 2025, this is the great part about taking SVG files and making them your own, is you can literally do whatever you want to these SVG files. So after you have whatever lettering you want on there, all you need to do is come up here into font and we need to select a new font. Let's say that this is the font that you wanted to use. All you need to do now is resize your lettering to fit inside the pennants that you've sized. Then once you're done putting in your new font, you would just want to come up here into the swatch color, change it to the color of cardstock that you're going to want to use. So for me, originally I had it at the marigold color, so I'm going to keep it there. Then the last and final step that you need to do is come up here into advanced and ungroup to letters. That makes them all individual and you'll be able to cut them out perfectly on your Cricut. So when you come over here into make, this is all the cardstock that you're going to need for this project if you made it the same exact size that I made it today. All right, so once you have that done, all you need to do now is pull the cardstock that you need for the project. Okay, so we have 6 sheets of black right here, and then we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sheets of Marigold cardstock. Now, my Marigold cardstock, or even any of my specialty cardstocks, mirror, silver, or gold, is absolutely amazing. First and foremost, it's thicker than most craft stores. Secondly, there's white on the back instead of craft brown, which most of the time or all the time that you go to the craft stores, the backing is going to be a craft. And actually, I have a piece right here just to show you. So the back of this one came from another craft store, and you're going to be able to see that it's clearly brown instead of white on the back. The other difference about this is you're going to actually see my camera right here, because you're going to have high reflection. Hello! You're going to have high reflection in my mirror. All of my mirror silver, mirror gold, and holographic, they just shine away just like a mirror acrylic. But the huge difference between these two, first, you're going to see a color difference between the two. This is more of like a faded gold color versus mine is a true gold. The other thing is, within the other craft store, there is kind of this like rippling, or like a, I guess rippling, or maybe a pitting is what I would call this, in their Marigold, which is mine is just like, it shines really bright. So the huge difference between the two. I absolutely love all of my specialty cardstock. So we need 7 of these. All right, now all you want to do is taking your stack of paper, and you just want to put it underneath your Cricut. Making sure that on your computer you are on your mat number 1. I always use 2 Cricut mats for my projects. Then what you want to do is insert 1 black mat or 1 black piece of paper on your very first mat, okay? Opening up my Cricut. We're going to insert this into our Cricut. Now, when it comes to my plain cardstock found in my cardstock warehouse, I always cut on the cardstock mode. And then over at the computer, I use this fast cut mode that's right here. Just toggle that on and then press the blinking C button. Okay, then what you want to do is, using your second mat, you just want to put in your next color of cardstock, which obviously for me it's going to be black. So we're going to cut 6 sheets of black. Now when it comes to my specialty cardstock, you want to cut specialty cardstock on the Cardstock Plus mode. And again, using the fast cut mode. It does not matter if you're using my plain, specialty, or glitter, always use the fast cut mode, because you don't want a slow cutting machine. Okay, when you have everything cut out, come back to me and we will assemble this together. So when you have everything cut out, I always like to stack my stuff in nice little piles, just so it keeps things a little organized. I have all of my pennants in one stack, letters in another. We can set those to the side. And then I have this right here, which is going to be that center portion of Happy New Year. Okay, so I'm going to be using 2 types of adhesives for this project. The very first one I'm going to be using is black foam tape for most of it, because I want my layers of my cardstock to stand up. You'll see in a second when I get done assembling this what the difference of the two will look like between glue and foam. That being said, I'm going to be using this type of foam tape. It is black, it'll match and it'll blend really well. I'll link who I purchased my black foam tape from, because I love her. Her name's Nancy and she is absolutely amazing. And then the other glue that I'm going to be using is this stuff right here. It's my favorite cardstock glue of all time. So for this part right here, I am going to be using cardstock glue for this portion. So all you need to do is just take your glue, and if you're using my glue that I love, you don't need a whole lot of it. A little bit goes a long way. The bond is really strong, which I love so much. It also works really well with glitter cardstock. So if you are a glitter cardstock user and often have struggles on finding a good adhesive to glue glitter cardstock together, this stuff is going to work perfectly. Okay, so this is what it looks like glued down onto the mirror cardstock. I'm going to just flatten it down and set that over to the side just right now. For my pennants though, what I'm going to do is separate these 2 stacks. I am going to use the foam tape for my pennants.
Now this is going to be a lot of foam because I have a lot of letters, but all you got to do is simply just put some foam on the back of one of the pennants. I am going to try and avoid the stars. So I don't want the foam to show through on the stars. I want it to be able to only see the gold. But I'm going to put one just up here so that gives it a little bit more stability. Okay, good enough. I'm going to put this many foam tapes on it. And then when you have the amount of foam tapes you want to use, honestly, there's no right or wrong answer on how much foam you want to use. I guess it just depends on how much foam you want to use. But you can use as many or as little as you want. I'm probably the next one. I'm probably just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 in the middle, and then up here. So I'm going to -1 on my next pennant. All right, scooting those over. All you want to do is for this one is you want to make sure that you line up your corners together. You don't want anything being off, and then we're just going to set this like this. Okay, so do you see the depth of which there is like more depth? I don't know if you're going to be able to tell, but there is depth in that, and it doesn't look so flat. So I'm not going to glue this on top of this, but just to give you a lookie of what I'm talking about. Okay, so if I were to glue directly on top of this with like a cardstock glue, this is what the final product is going to look like, and it's flat. Not bad. The end results would not look terrible, but when we add in the black foam, first I use the black, so you can't even tell that there is any type of foam on the sides. But if we put these and compare them side by side, the one on the right just has more depth to it versus the one on the left that would just be glued right on top of each other. There's no right or wrong answer here. You do what glue you have on hand. I am just going to do it this way because I like the depth of which this looks. Okay, now what you want to do is continue gluing all of your pennants together, and then I'll show you the difference between gluing the letters together versus doing more foam for here. So come back to me when you have all your pennants put together. Okay, so I went ahead and just put on all of my foam on my letters and my pennants because holy cow, does that take a long time to peel and stick all the foam. Definitely takes a lot longer than just doing cardstock glue. So if you're crunched on time, I'd probably stick to the cardstock glue. Okay, so before I finish foam taping the rest of this, I wanted to show you what the difference is if you chose to go the route of all glue or mixing the foam with the glue. So if you chose to go the route of me and using foam tape in between your pennants, and you chose to do a letter that was glued on top with the cardstock glue, this is what your final product is going to look like, okay? So if you chose to go the route of only using cardstock glue, which is going to be your quickest route, this is what your final product is going to look like. Just all flat and still looks really good, but there's not a lot of dimension in it. You can tell that there's definitely layers, but there's just not a whole lot of dimensions, a little bit flatter. Okay, so if you were to go the route of only using foam tape on all of the layers, which is what I have done, this is what your final product is going to look like. Now, I'm not entirely sure if you're going to be able to see it or pick it up on the camera, but I have layers and layers in my banner, so I just have some more depth to it than it just being all the way flat. So it looks good. There's nothing wrong with this. So if you're crunched for time, don't have the foam tape, just use cardstock glue, but you can definitely customize the way things look just by adding in foam tape or only in certain layers. So that's the beauty of being a crafter, is that we can definitely make different looks throughout. Okay, so once you have everything put in place, what you need to do is get a hole punch. This is my most favorite hole punch because you can put a lot of sheets together. And all I'm gonna do is just take corners. I'm just gonna hole punch all the corners of my cardstock, going through both layers of cardstock. Okay, so now let's arrange this in the spelling of which it needs to. Also, when it comes to this one right here, I'm not going to put any holes in it. I'm going to show you what I do to combat this. I don't want to put a hole in this because then it's going to look funny, I think. So I'm not going to put a hole in that. Now, stringing banners has always been an Achilles tendon for a lot of crafters, but I can tell you that what you need to do is you need to grab yourself one of these. It's called an embroidery needle, and it has a very like wide head on the very top. So when you are stringing your banners, instead of like trying to do it like this and, you know, making it taking forever, what you can do is we can put our ribbon on the end of our embroidery needle, just like we would sew anything else. I use an embroidery needle, one, because the head is larger, but two, this has a blunt edge, so it's not going to cut you. And then taking your ribbon, I'm using a black satin ribbon. These rolls right here, I get off of Amazon. It'll be linked in the description of this video. They are like $6 for a huge roll. They last you forever. It's definitely a lot better than getting them at the craft store. So with this, like, you know how long it took me to get that one? But now, when we have the embroidery needle on there, you can go super fast. Remember, I don't have patience for slow anything. So when things can go faster and I figure out how to be more efficient on things, then I'm perfect. I'm happy as a clam. So the next question I get a lot is like, how long should we keep the lengths of the tails of our ribbon? I can tell you this, that I don't have a science. What I do is I take from my wrist to my shoulder and I just pull on the string. And when I get to my shoulder, which is right here, then I just clip. It's no science to that. There's no measurements. Okay, so let's go into the second banner. And when you get to the middle portion, which is the 2025, right? When we get to this, all I'm going to do is I am just going to hook my needle through the 0. So when we go to hang this up, instead of it being like this, right? What I'm going to do is when I hang this up is I'm just going to lay my ribbon over the top. So do you see how now it's laying straight up and down versus if you don't hook it on the 2, it's just kind of free flowing. So that's all I'm going to do is just go like this when I hang it up on the wall and just hook it onto my 2 and then it'll lay flat. So that's my little trick for that one. I hope you had a lot of fun creating this cardstock banner with me. It honestly brings me in my feels. It makes me want to open my Etsy shop back up. For 12 years, I ran an Etsy shop full-time selling party decorations. This is where I made 6 figures and got my start. And this particular banner right now would be flying off the shelves. It kind of makes me want to open it back up and start making these. So now that we've made a banner for our New Year's Eve celebration, what else do you normally need for New Year's Eve decorations? Hopefully you said cupcake toppers, centerpieces, and or party booth props, because in my next video that I'm going to post is all about New Year's Eve cupcake toppers, centerpieces that you could also use as photo booth props. They are going to match perfectly with the banner that we created today, and I can't wait to show you a couple little really cool tips and tricks along the way when it comes to making those projects. All right, y'all, I sure hope I inspired you to create, and I better see you later.